Hi guys, welcome to Raftel TCG. My name's Connor, and I'm back here again with another red deck profile. Today we're going to be doing the Monkey D. Luffy starter deck leader profile. And it's a little bit different than the Zoro. You still have the premise of wanting to rush and get in there really fast and really get after the life advantage early on. But the difference is that with Zoro, you're giving all of your players, all your characters, that boost in attack. With Luffy, you're working more off of the Dawn manipulation and how to get those effects that you have in the deck and really push forward a little bit faster in certain circumstances, but also establish a board a little bit easier and establish that control. Well, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, like every red deck, first off, there's our leader. We're playing the structure deck, Monkey D. Luffy. Just going to put them up there for right now. Then we're running 4 Namis. I feel like you always run 4 Namis. The Searcher one, because you can just basically search any card in this deck. Just all around a great going first card. You want to see this in your opening hand, but it's not the worst with the way that the deck's built. The deck's really consistent even without her. Next we have 4 of the structure deck Namis. Now with this build, you want 4 of her. You want at least 2. I'll say that. Just because having her to help manipulate that Dawn a little bit further and push the envelope open a little bit more is always really good. The fact that once per turn you can just take one of these rested Dawn and just attach it to one of your characters, it's always a big plus. Next we have 4 of the best blocker for red, and that's Tony Jobber. I don't think there's many red decks, even like red-green decks, that wouldn't say you need to run Chopper. He's just all around good. There's not much to say about that. Next we have 4 Otama. Now, Otama, the reason you run 4 of her is because you always want to see her. She's not searchable, so like you kind of have to draw into her or have her in your opening hand. Just getting to her is a little bit more difficult. But when you have her, you want to make sure that you use her properly, and that whenever you're actually playing her or using her as a counter, it's beneficial to the point where you're going to close the game. It's a little bit more thought process when using Otama. Next, we're getting into our 2 cost. We have 4 of the Brooks. Now, he's mainly just a 2k counter, but the reason that he's so much better in the Luffy deck is that he helps with that Dawn manipulation push through. Let's say that I've already used Luffy's effect. He has basically the same effect on play, where when you rested 2 to get him on there, those 2 can now be viable to put underneath one of your characters that can swing that turn. And he's also just another body. 3k is really easy to bump up to in this deck to 5k and hit them for a little bit of damage. Then we have the reason why this deck kind of facilitates itself a little bit better in some circumstances than the Zoro deck, and that is the Rush Sanji. The fact that on turn 2, even turn 1 sometimes if you're going second, you can put out Sanji, and on turn 2, because of the leader effect, you can put him out and just go ahead and be swinging with 6k. It's always very beneficial to what you want to do. This deck has a lot of low cost, and that's what we like about this. The only bad part is that he's not a counter at all, so it's kind of a love to see him but hate to see him late game kind of card. But also another card that you love to see early game is Nico Robin. Now with Nico Robin, I put this to 3 instead of the traditional 4, just because I like seeing her. She's a great card, but your opponent is going to try and get her off very quickly, especially with the combination of cards that we have left to go through. Her just being able to, when attacking Don X1, pop anything with 3k or less, just a phenomenal card, and really helps you kind of go through for, more of that board control that this red deck in particular likes. But I only played 3 of her just because she is searchable. We're running a lot of search cards in this deck, and you don't really want her late game, but she's always good to have kind of in that early mid game. Going over some more 3s, we are running 2 of the promo Luffys. Now, I understand that not everybody has access to promo cards, and that's fine. If you don't have it, I would suggest the 2K counter Sanji, just because he does have an ability that really helps you during this game in this matchup. I just prefer him, one, because the artwork is so much more spectacular, and two, because if you just attach 2 Dawn to him, he's automatically 7k. And that's crazy hard to get over, especially for a 3 cost. It's just unbeatable. Next we have another great card, another staple for red, and that's Rush Zoro. Not much to say about him. He's 3 cost, 5k. Put him down, swing. Going for it. Then we have, we bumped up the Brooks for this deck profile in particular, just because, like I said, the Dawn manipulation in this deck is just crazy. You're always going to have 1 Dawn to attach to this Brooks, and him lowering your opponent's cards, your opponent's characters, by 2k is just really important for a bunch of matchups, especially with Jet Pistol being able to take care of a 6k or less. Being able to drop those higher numbers like King just down to that peg, and then doing that, and also being able to get a hit in is just really fantastic for this deck. Next we're going to go ahead and jump up to the 5 cost. We are running 5 of the Rush Monkey D. Luffy. Now, with this deck, the way that we like to play it is almost like he's a 4 cost, and then that 4 cost is 7k with Rush now. It's just phenomenal. I think this is one of the best cards in the game. Being able to say, you can't activate blockers if I have to. Really helps you push through with some of those late game instances where people are just trying to block for dear life. Next, in that same vein, we run 2 Shanks. Now, there's an argument with Shanks. I might replace him with the other promo Luffy, that if it has 2 Dawn attached to it, it gets Rush. The only difference is Shanks cannot be blocked by those small cost blockers, and that's really good in this game. Being able to just say swing, if it's 2k or less, you can't block it, and it's hard to counter up to 10k. Then we have our events, and we have 2 Diablo Jambe. Same reason that we have the Luffys and the Shanks. We really like being able to just punch and either deplete those resources in hand, or just get those cards out of there and keep going for game. And the fact that it can also, if you trigger this in life, it can just pop KO one of your opponent's blockers with 3 costs or less is really nice. So if they're, a little bit hasty in their movements and put down their blockers and then swing, you can just go ahead and take care of that problem without even have to really address it. Next, you have 2 in 2 years. I really like this card. The only part of it that I don't like is whenever I need that counter card and I don't have that counter card. But I do like the consistency bump that it gives this deck, especially since most of our cards are Straw Hats. But being able to search just about any card in this deck is just too good not to at least run it at some capacity. Next, we have a couple defensive cards. We're only running 2 Red Hawks. Red Hawk is really good. It's the same thought process as if you triggered the Diablo Jambe. You're getting rid of something that your opponent has had to waste on for 2 costs of your own on their turn. And so if you can get this off and you can get rid of that board presence that your opponent's setting up, it's always really nice and really rewarding in that circumstance. I like it. I think it's the best counter for red, either this or Radical Beam. Radical Beam being able to just rest 1 Dawn and bump your character up to 4k is really fantastic. Still need to play with that a little bit and see what I like on that. But to finish out the deck, we are running 3 Jet Pistol. Now, I've seen people run it for, I like it 3 because it's something that you want to see often, but you don't want to clog your hand with that because most of the time in a late game situation, Jet Pistol is not going to win you the game unless you're going up against green and they have Eustace Captain Kidd on board, and it's just difficult to get over those. Being able to trigger this from life, however, is really fantastic, especially if, say, you're playing purple and they have Blocker Queen or Rush Queen, either one of those, and you can get rid of it super easily with this because they had to neg 1 Dawn, even with Onigashima. Being able to just say what you just did doesn't matter is always very fun and very rewarding. And always, we are running our traditional alt Dons, our parallel Dons. Love them. Love what they're doing with this, with Bandai, and giving us a little taste from the first section of One Piece. Whenever Luffy's hopping out the barrel, saying he's going to be Pirate King, it just gives that nostalgia feel. It's really nice. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. If y'all have any suggestions on what we should do next on our channel, feel free to leave a comment. We're always looking for new ideas, new ways to interact with the community, ways to, really liven it up and be that channel that's for One Piece, for those people that like the game, like the anime, like the manga. We're all big fans of it and are happy to see where this card game goes. But without further ado, thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.